Good morning, dear students. Yesterday we began with the play, one act play, The Proposal. We read that Stepan Stepanovich Chokobov is a landowner and his neighbor is Ivan Vasilovich Lomov. And Lomov wanted to marry Chokobov's daughter and he comes to his house with the proposal. And suddenly, when he speaks about this to Chokobov, he is very happy and sends his daughter. We are reading the conversation between Lomov and daughter of Chokobov, that is Natalia Stepanovna. Now let's continue. We are on page number 146. So students, we have already learned about the problem of Lomov, that is palpitations, that is a noticeably rapid, strong and irregular heartbeat due to agitation, exertion or illness. So he was feeling now awfully cold. Let's see what happens, what Lomov says. He's excited. You see, honored Natalia Stepanovna, that fact is I have made up my mind to ask you to hear me out. Of course, I have made up my mind. So he says that of course you will be surprised and perhaps even angry. But it's awfully cold. Now when he is speaking, when he is actually proposing the idea to Natalia, he is feeling nervous. And therefore on the side he says, he doesn't speak in front of her and he says on the side, it's awfully cold. He is feeling very strangely cold. To that Natalia asks, what's the matter? Well, to this Lomov replies, I shall try to be brief. You must know, honored Natalia Stepanovna, that I have long since my childhood, in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. My late aunt and a husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land, always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. The Lomovs and the Chokobovs have always had the most friendly and I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. And as you know, my land is near neighbor of yours. You will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birch woods. Now, Lomov wanted to propose for the marriage and see what he is doing. What did he say? That his late aunt and her husband, that is his aunt and uncle from whom he has inherited the property, they are in very close to the property of Chokobovs. Now, excuse me interrupting you. You say oxen meadows? My oxen meadows? So Natalia is asking that if Lomov said my oxen meadows. Children, oxen meadows are actually land full of grass for animals to graze in. So Natalia is asking him if he is talking about oxen meadows and called it Lomov's oxen meadows. Yes, mine. What are you talking about? Oxen meadows are ours, not yours. Natalia started to shout. No, mine, honored Natalia Stepanovna. Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out? How? I'm speaking of those oxen meadows which are wedged in between your birch woods and the burnt marsh. Burnt marsh is again a land that is devoted to the marshes, and birch woods are the wood of birch trees. So students, they have started to fight between them in the name of oxen meadows. Each is saying that oxen meadows are theirs. Yes, they are ours, Natalia said. No, you are mistaken, honored Natalia Stepanovna. They are mine. Just think, Ivan Vasilovich, how long have they been yours? How long? As long as I can remember, Lomov said. Really, you won't get me to believe that. But you can see from the documents, honored Natalia Stepanovna, oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute. So they were actually the topic of quarreling between the families. But now everybody knows that they are mine. There is nothing to argue about. You see, My aunt grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of your grandfather's grandfather, in return for which they were to make bricks for her. So here Lomo he's saying that he is having an upper hand. Why he is having an upper hand? Because he says that his aunt's grandmother gave the oxen meadows for the free use to the father's grandfather, like Natalia's father's grandfather, and that also in perpetuity. Perpetuity means a state or quality of lasting forever. And in the return of that, those peasants who used to work on that, they used to make bricks for her. For whom? For Lomo's aunt's grandmother. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own. When it happened that, so here he is saying that they started to use the land as if it was theirs, but everybody knows that they are ours. They had been the land was allotted only for the use of the peasants. Otherwise, we are the real owners. To that, Natalia says, no, it isn't at all like that. Both grandfather and great grandfather reckoned that their land extended to burnt marsh, which means that oxen meadows were ours. Reckoned means established by calculation. So they had calculated and they told us that oxen meadows are up to burnt marsh and that are ours, that are our property. I don't see what there is to argue about. So it's simply silly. So Natalia finds it very silly that he is saying that oxen meadows are theirs. But according to Natalia, it is of Chocobos, not of Lomos. I will show you the documents, Natalia Stepanovna, Lomo said. No, you are simply joking or making fun of me. What a surprise! We have had the land for nearly 300 years, and then we are suddenly told that it isn't ours. Ivan Vasilovich, I can hardly believe my own ears. These meadows aren't worth much to me. They only come to 5 desiatins and are worth perhaps 300 rubles. But I can't stand unfairness. Say what you will. I can't stand unfairness. So Natalia says that the meadows, they cost a very little, only 300 rubles, and it's only a stretch of land. It's only 5 desiatins. But if you say that also is yours, it is injustice, it is unfair thing that you are speaking. You are speaking false, you are speaking wrong. I can't believe. What a joke you are speaking. It is ours and then you claim the land to be yours. Hear me out. I implore you. Lomo says he requests her to listen to him. The peasants of your fathers, grandfathers, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. Now my aunt's grandmother wishing to make them a pleasant. I can't make a head or tail of all this about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours, that's all. So Natalia just spoke in between, cut short Lomo and says that I don't know anything about whatever you are speaking about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. I know only one thing, that the meadows are ours. Mine. Ours, you can go on proving it for 2 days or end. You can go and put on 15 dress jackets, but I tell you, they are ours, ours, ours. I don't want anything of yours and I don't want to give anything of mine. So there. So Natalia says that if you go for 2 hours also continuously speaking the same thing, if you change 15 dresses also, dress jackets also, if you come and wear, then also I will see the same thing, that oxen meadows are ours and they are not yours. Natalia Stepanovna, I don't want the meadows, but I am acting on the principle. If you like, I will make you a present of them. So he says that whatever I am speaking, I am having documents behind, I am having evidence of that. And if you still do not believe, I can make a present of those documents in front of you. That evidence I can show you. I can make you a present of them myself because they are mine. Your behavior, Ivan Vasilevich, is strange to say the least. Up to this, we have always thought of you as good a neighbor, a friend. Last year, we lent you a threshing machine. Although on that account, we had to put off our own threshing till November. But you behaved to us as if we were gypsies. So Natalia says that till now we were thinking that you are a good person, a good neighbor, a good friend. And last year I remember we had given you a threshing machine also. Threshing machine, you know that children, it is to cut the harvest and for the harvest and for the cleaning the grain. So he says that she says sorry that he was provided with the threshing machine till November, and then they got themselves late. Natalia, the Chocobos got late for their own business on account of them. Still, they did not speak anything regarding that. And then when they called for the threshing machines, Natalia's family called for the threshing machine. They behaved like Chocobo behaved like gypsies. That as if they were gypsies. So gypsies are students, a group of nomadic people. Giving me my own land indeed. No really, that's not all neighborly. In my opinion, it's even impudent if you want to know. So impudent means not showing due respect for another person. So according to Natalia, Lomo is misbehaving with her, and he is telling to her that Oxen Meadows are theirs. Natalia says that how can you say that Oxen Meadows are yours? Though I know that we are the landowners, we have the upper hand of you. We have been allotting you, lending you various things for your help, and we are thinking you as a good neighbor, and on the other side you are calling us cheaters. Then you make out that I am a land grabber. Madam, never in my life have I grabbed anybody else's land, and I shan't allow anybody to accuse me of having done so. Quick, steps to the carafe and drinks more water. Oxen Meadows are mine. So Lomo goes to carafe. Carafe is an open-topped glass flask used for serving wine or water in a restaurant. So Lomo starts to drink and he says that I am not impudent, and why are you calling me a land grabber? I am not a land grabber. He says that I cannot grab land or anything else of anybody. Why are you accusing me so? It's not true. They are ours. So Natalia again repeats the same thing. Mine. It's not true. I will prove it. I will send my mowers out to the meadows this very day. What? My mowers will be there this very day. Mower students is a person who cuts grass with a mower. I will give it to them in the neck. You dare! Clutches at his heart. Oxen Meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. Prince Natalia is saying that she would send her mowers to cut the grass this very day, and she feels that Oxen Meadows are theirs. Please don't shout. You can shout yourself hoarse in your own house. But here I must ask you to restrain yourself. Hoarse, harsh tone. So Natalia says that in your house, if you want, then you can shout harshly, but not in my house. I can ask you to stop yourself just now. If it wasn't, madam, for this awful excruciating palpitation, if my whole inside wasn't upset, I would talk to you in a different way. Oxen Meadows are mine. Solomon says that as he is the victim of palpitation, that is why he is not feeling confident to speak. Otherwise, he would have shown her that Oxen Meadows are theirs. Ours, mine. Now enter Chocobo. What's the matter? What are you shouting for? Papa, please tell this gentleman who owns Oxen Meadows, we or he. Darling, the meadows are ours. So Chocobo also supports the daughter. But please, Stepanovich, how can they be yours? Do be a reasonable man. My aunt's grandmother gave the meadows for the temporary and free use of your grandfather's peasants. The peasants used the land for 40 years and got accustomed to it as if it was their own when it happened that. So Lomov repeated the same thing. Excuse me, my precious, you forget just this, that the peasants didn't pay your grandmother and all that because the meadows were in dispute and so on. And now everybody knows that they are ours. It means that you haven't seen the plan. I will prove to you that they are mine, Lomov says. You won't prove it, my darling, Chocobo says. I shall, dear one. Why yell like that? Why shout like that? You won't prove anything just by yelling. So you cannot prove anything just like this by shouting. Yelling means shouting. I don't want anything of yours and don't intend to give up what I have. Why should I? So he says that whatever is mine, I will never give you, and whatever is yours, I don't tell you that that is mine. And you know, my beloved, that if you propose to go on arguing about it, I would much sooner give up the meadows to the peasants than to you. There. So Chocobo says that if you keep on fighting like this to me, I will return back meadows to those peasants instead of giving back the land to you. I don't understand how have you the right to give away somebody else's property. You may take it that I know whether I have the right or not, because, young man, I am not used to being spoken to it in that tone of voice and so on. I, young man, am twice your age and ask you to speak to me without agitating yourself and all that. So Chocobo says that have some manners to speak to me. And young man, you should have some decent manners to speak to a man twice of your age. No, you just think I am a fool and want to have me on. You call my land yours and then you want me to talk to you calmly and politely. Good neighbors don't have like that. Stepan Stepanovich, you are not a neighbor. You are a grabber. So Lomov calls him a grabber because he thinks that his land has been grabbed by chocobos. What's that? What did you say? Papa, sent the mowers out to the meadow at once. What did you say, sir? Oxen meadows are ours and I shan't give them up. Shan't give them up. Shan't give them up. We will see you. I will have the matter taken to court and then I will show you, Lomov says. To court? You can take it to court and all that. You can't. I know you. You are just on the lookout for a chance to go to the court and all that. You pettifogger? All your people were like that. All of them. Now, pettifogger, children, is an inferior legal practitioner who specially deals with the petty cases or employs dubious practices. So she calls not only him but the whole family of Lomovs a pettifogger. And like this, the quarreling continues.